ever stop to think about just how much brain power your car has these days. It's really wild when you realize it's not just metal and mechanics anymore. It's like this whole network of tiny computers making everything work. Your
Yeah,
IC, your brakes, everything.
exactly.
And that's exactly where we're headed in this deep dive. We're diving deep into the global market for managing all those automotive electronics, electronic control units, ECUs. This is all based on a pretty fascinating report from 2025.
Yeah, think of it like this. Your car has dozens, sometimes, believe it or not, over 100 of these ECUs. They're basically mini computers controlling everything, engine performance, airbag deployment, you name it. So what we're exploring today is the massive global industry that keeps these absolutely crucial components running smoothly and evolving.
Massive is definitely the right word. This 2025 report pegs the global market for automotive ECU management at a hefty USD 102,514.5 million. But hold on to your steering wheel because by 2033, that number is projected to climb to a whopping USD 165,875.2 million.
Wow. And that jump, it's driven by an annual growth rate, a CAGR of 6.20%. That really tells a story, doesn't it? About how much more sophisticated our vehicles are becoming.
Right.
It's not just about getting from A to B anymore. It's about this increasing reliance on electronic systems for, almost everything.
And it's a surprising engine for all this growth. Apparently, it's our simple desire for, like, a comfier ride.
It sounds simple, yeah.
Who knew wanting heated seats and a good sound system would power such a huge market?
But when you actually break it down, it makes perfect sense. All those features that enhance comfort, your climate control, your infotainment system, even those advanced driver assistance systems that make driving less stressful,
Sure.
they all rely on complex ECU management working away behind the scenes.
So this deep dive is fueled by this really comprehensive market report. Our mission, as always, is to cut through the data, find the interesting bits and bring you the most important and maybe unexpected insights about where automotive electronics are actually heading. Okay, let's get under the hood of this, starting with the big picture globally.
Right. So as we mentioned, that 2025 global market size, it sits at USD 102,514.5 million. And the forecast pushing it to almost USD 166 billion by 2033 with that 6.20% CAGR. It really paints a picture of significant expansion.
Yeah.
What's also interesting is the timeline the report uses. It sets 2024 as the base year, looks back at historical data from 2021 to 24, and then projects forward all the way to 2033.
Okay.
So this longer-term view, it really helps us understand the sustained momentum in this sector.
Absolutely. Now let's look at how this global pie is sort of divided up regionally. Where are the major hubs for this market?
Well, looking at the 2025 numbers, North America accounts for a pretty substantial slice, over 23% of the global market,
23%.
which translates to USD 23,578.34 million. However, their projected CAGR is 4.9% between 2025 and 2033. That suggests maybe a steadier, perhaps more mature growth compared to some other areas.
That seems to track given the report highlights the strong, early adoption of both self-driving tech and electric vehicles in the US. And Canada's pushing forward too with government support for EVs and safety features.
Exactly.
So it seems like what consumers want and, the rules of the road are big factors there.
Precisely. The emphasis that consumers and regulators in North America place on both safety and convenience.
Yeah.
That directly fuels the demand for vehicles packed with these advanced electronic systems, hence their significant current market share.
Makes sense. What about Europe? They're usually right there at the forefront of automotive innovation.
They are. Europe holds the second largest market share in 2025, over 18%,
18%, okay.
which works out to USD 18,452.61 million. Their expected CAGR, though, is 3.8%. So also on the more, let's say, conservative side compared to the global average.
The report does point out the UK's strong demand for cutting-edge safety tech and those strict emissions standards, plus Germany's ongoing leadership in developing new auto electronics. So it sounds like regulations are a really major driving force in Europe, too.
Definitely. The strict government regulations concerning both safety standards and environmental pollution across Europe are a huge influence in shaping the demand for advanced ECU management systems.
Okay, right. Now, here's where things start to look really interesting. The Asia-Pacific region, APAC.
Yes, APAC. It actually commands the largest market share in 2025, around 48%.
Almost half.
Yeah, with a market size of USD 49,206.96 million. But the really compelling part is their projected CAGR,
Would you?
a really robust 7.5% between 2025 and 2033. That makes it the fastest growing region by quite a significant margin.
Wow, already nearly half the global market and then growing at that pace. What's the engine behind that kind of expansion?
Well, the report mentions China's government heavily supporting EVs and, of course, their massive production capabilities. And then there's India's increasing need for more sophisticated driver assistance. The report notes India has the highest regional CDR within APAC, actually.
Incredible.
So you've really hit on the key factors: the rising populations, growing disposable incomes across the whole APAC region. It's creating this substantial appetite for vehicles with advanced features. Add in that proactive government support for EVs, like in China, and the demand for enhanced safety tech in rapidly developing markets like India. Those are the primary drivers.
It really makes you wonder if we'll start seeing major ECU innovations coming out of that region soon as their market influence just keeps growing.
It's definitely something to watch.
For sure. Okay, let's briefly touch on the other regions mentioned. South America.
South America holds a market share of just over 4% in 2025. That's USD 3,895.55 million. And they have a healthy anticipated CDR too, 6.9% leading up to 2033.
Okay.
The report notes increasing interest in electrified and eventually autonomous cars in Brazil, plus Argentina's advancements in ADS and EV tech. Those are key trends there.
So it seems they're on a pretty strong growth trajectory as well, driven by that rising demand for better safety and, entertainment features. What about the Middle East?
The Middle East accounts for around 4.00% of the market in 2025, valued at USD 4,100.58 million, and it's projected to grow at a CAGR of 6.8%. Similar growth rate to South America.
And what's driving that?
Well, things like Qatar's growing demand for convenience and safety features in cars, alongside Turkey's increasing focus on safety, both through regulations and tech advancements.
And I guess the region's generally high per capita income and that preference for luxury vehicles probably plays a role too, right? Demanding more advanced systems.
Absolutely. Higher-end vehicles typically come loaded with a more extensive suite of advanced electronic features, which means more complex ECU management.
Makes sense. And finally, Africa.
Africa currently holds a smaller share, around 2.2% in 2025, with a size of USD 3,280.46 million. However, it's still showing promising growth potential, a CGR of 6.2%, right on the global average.
What's happening there?
The report mentions increasing adoption of more advanced car technologies in Nigeria and South Africa's growing focus on vehicle safety and efficiency. Those are notable points.
So while it's a smaller piece of the puzzle now, maybe the expanding middle class and increasing urbanization there will fuel greater demand down the line.
That seems to be the implication, yes.
Okay, so we've got a good overview of the global landscape now. Let's delve into the key segments within this market and what's powering their growth. Where should we start?
Well, the report breaks it down in several insightful ways. Let's start by looking at the processing power or capacity of these ECUs. Currently, 32-bit ECUs hold the largest market share.
Okay, why is that?
It's largely because they offer a really good balance between cost and the performance needed for many common automotive applications. Think infotainment, basic driver assistance, engine control. They're sort of the reliable workhorses for a lot of current vehicle functions.
That makes sense. They're the established standard for a wide range of tasks. But what about the future? Where's the growth happening in ECU capacity?
Looking ahead, 64-bit ECUs are definitely the fastest growing segment.
Uh-huh.
This is being driven by the increasing need for significantly more processing power. You need it to handle more complex features. Consider the real-time data processing required for, say, advanced autonomous driving systems.
Right.
Or just the improved communication capabilities needed in connected vehicles. As cars get smarter and more interconnected, they just need that extra brain power that 64-bit architecture provides.
Absolutely essential for the next generation of cars. Now, how does the type of engine, the propulsion, affect all of this?
Well, as you might expect, ECUs for vehicles with internal combustion engines, ICE vehicles, currently make up the largest share of the market.
Still dominant.
Yes, simply due to the vast number of gasoline and diesel cars still on the road and the long-established systems for integrating ECUs into them.
But we all know electric vehicles are gaining serious traction.
Exactly, and that's reflected here. The battery electric vehicle, or BEV, segment is experiencing rapid growth in terms of ECU management demand. This is fueled by, well, government incentives promoting EVs, increasing environmental awareness among consumers, and of course, continuous advancements in battery tech.
So more EVs means more demand for specialized ECUs for them.
Precisely. specialized ECUs designed for the unique needs of electric powertrains.
Okay, moving on to the type of vehicle itself, the vehicle type segment. I'm guessing passenger vehicles dominate here.
That's correct. No surprise there. The sheer volume of passenger cars produced globally, and each one contains a significant number of ECUs for all sorts of functions. That makes this the largest segment by far.
But is there interesting growth elsewhere?
Yes, actually. The light commercial vehicle, or LCV segment, is showing rapid growth in its demand for ECU management.
That's interesting. Vans and smaller trucks needing more sophisticated electronics.
Why? Several factors are at play. The growing demand for efficient transportation of goods, partly thanks to the surge in e-commerce, leading to more delivery vehicles.
Ah, the delivery economy.
Right, and also the increasing integration of ECUs in these LCVs to enhance their performance, fuel efficiency, and, importantly, safety features. It all adds up.
Okay, let's talk about how the driver interacts with the vehicle, the mode segment, manual versus automatic or autonomous.
Well, currently, vehicles with manual transmissions still hold the largest share, particularly in developing economies where cost and sometimes driver preference still favor them.
But the growth story must be elsewhere.
Oh, definitely. The autonomous vehicle segment is exhibiting the most rapid growth.
Again, with all the buzz around self-driving technology, that's hardly a shocker. Those vehicles must be absolutely packed with advanced ECUs.
They are indeed. The progress in, artificial intelligence, machine learning, sophisticated sensor tech, it's all driving a huge demand for highly advanced ECUs in autonomous vehicles. And the primary focus there is always ensuring safety and optimizing efficiency.
Right. Now, let's look at what these electronic brains are actually controlling, the application segment.
Okay, the largest application segment currently is ADS and safety, Advanced Driver Assistance Systems.
Makes sense.
This really reflects the increasing global focus on vehicle safety and also the growing number of mandatory safety regulations. Things requiring features like automated emergency braking or lane keeping assist systems.
Safety is definitely top priority for regulators and buyers. But where are we seeing the fastest growth in terms of what these ECUs are doing?
That would be in infotainment and communication.
Ah, the fun stuff.
Well, yes, but also crucial stuff now. The ever-growing demand for seamless connectivity in our vehicles. Advanced in-car entertainment options like, sophisticated voice recognition, large touch screens, and also the communication requirements of future autonomous vehicles are all fueling this rapid expansion. We basically want our cars to be as connected as our living rooms.
It's all about being wired in, isn't it? Even on the road. Okay, finally, let's look at how these systems are actually making their way into vehicles, the sales channel.
So currently, original equipment manufacturers, OEMs, the companies actually building the cars, they dominate the sales channel for ECU management.
Why is that?
It's due to several factors: ensuring a guaranteed fit and compatibility, adhering to the manufacturer's quality standards, fulfilling warranty requirements, and meeting those stringent emissions regulations we talked about.
So the car manufacturers and their direct suppliers are the main route. But the report indicates another channel is growing quickly.
Yes, the aftermarket is the fastest growing sales channel.
Okay, so buying parts after the car is sold.
Exactly. This is largely driven by consumers seeking maybe more affordable alternatives to OEM parts for repairs and replacements, and also those looking to customize or upgrade their vehicle's electronic systems, adding new features, perhaps.
That makes sense for vehicle owners looking for cost-effective solutions or just wanting to personalize their rides. Okay, so we've covered the global picture, the regional variations, the key segments. What about the main forces really propelling this market forward, and maybe what challenges it might face?
Right. The report highlights several crucial market drivers. First, our increasing desire for comfort and convenience in vehicles. We just expect more now. Second, the relentless advancements in automotive technology itself, constantly introducing new electronic features.
Yeah.
And third, the subsequent growing need for more sophisticated ECUs to actually manage all these new technologies that go hand in hand.
Those seem like pretty powerful, almost unstoppable forces. What are some of the potential speed bumps, though, the restraints?
The report identifies two primary restraints. One is the increasing complexity, which can lead to potential compatibility issues between the various electronic systems within a single vehicle, getting everything to talk to each other smoothly.
The integration challenge?
Exactly. And the second is the substantial research and development costs. Designing and producing these increasingly intricate ECU management systems is just very expensive.
Those definitely sound like significant hurdles for the industry to navigate. Are there any major trends that are kind of shaping the future direction of this market?
Yes, two notable trends are highlighted. First, the continuous tightening of regulatory standards around both vehicle safety and emissions. This just necessitates more advanced and sophisticated ECU management.
More rules means smarter systems.
Pretty much. And the second trend is the increasing number of partnerships and collaborations. Traditional automotive companies are teaming up with specialized technology providers more and more
Why?
to leverage expertise, share the R&D burden, and just accelerate innovation in this really rapidly evolving field. You can't always do it all yourself anymore.
So working together seems crucial in such a dynamic environment. Now, this is clearly a highly competitive market, right? Who are some of the major players we should maybe know about?
Absolutely. It's characterized by strong competition among both big global players and regional specialists. Some key dominant companies include names like ZF, Hella, Continental, Denso, and Bosch. You probably recognize some of those.
Yeah, familiar names.
Their strength lies in their comprehensive product portfolios, covering a huge range of auto electronics, their well-established global distribution networks, and their ongoing commitment to R&D to stay ahead.
And the report even gives a couple of specific examples of what some of these companies are up to, doesn't it?
Yes, it mentions Denso acquiring a stake in a company called Team back in December 2020. That move was aimed specifically at speeding up their software development for onboard ECUs.
Okay.
And in January 2021, Panasonic announced its SPYDR cockpit controller. This thing integrates artificial intelligence specifically to enhance driver awareness.
Interesting.
So these are just a couple of snapshots illustrating the kind of strategic investments and technological advancements happening all the time within this competitive landscape.
Right. So to try and bring it all together then, what are the core takeaways for you, our listener, from this deep dive into the Automotive Electronics Control Unit management market?
Well, I think the key takeaway is that this market is, one, substantial, and two, growing rapidly. It's driven fundamentally by our desire for more comfortable and technologically advanced vehicles, coupled with an absolutely unwavering focus on safety.
And APAC is leading the growth charge.
Exactly. The Asia-Pacific region is really at the forefront of this growth. And within the market, we're seeing particularly strong expansion in areas like the more powerful 64-bit ECUs, the electric vehicle sector, light commercial vehicles, autonomous driving tech, those sophisticated infotainment and communication systems, and also the aftermarket for upgrades and repairs. Lots of movement there.
And just to underscore the scale of it again, we started with a market size of over, USD 102 billion in 2025.
That's right.
And we're looking at a significant jump to nearly USD 166 billion by 2033. It's just a massive and constantly evolving part of the whole automotive world.
Precisely. Yeah. And this leads us to maybe an important question for you to consider. With so much technology becoming integral to our vehicles, what do you think will be the next must-have electronic feature? And how will that further reshape this market? And maybe even more fundamentally, what are the longer-term implications of all this increasing electronic complexity for how we own and maintain our vehicles down the road?
Those are definitely some big, thought-provoking questions. It really highlights that intricate interplay, doesn't it, between what we as consumers want, what technological innovation makes possible, and, of course, what the regulatory bodies are pushing for. Well, thanks for taking this deep dive with us today.